Sports.
We are Blackboard. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. Last October, the Tigers and Rangers squared off in the playoffs. Tonight, the two teams will meet for the first time since the American League Championship Series. And they will also boast the best two records so far in the American League. It's a playoff rematch tonight on a nice night for baseball here in the Motor City as we welcome you to Comerica Park. Game one of this four-game series featuring the Texas Rangers and the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers back home after a successful road trip, and they will face a powerful Rangers team. The Tigers not too shabby themselves. The Tigers at 9-3, the Rangers at 10-2. Two of the top winning teams in the American League, two of the top average teams in Josh Hamilton of the Rangers, Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers. It's Well, it wasn't long ago when these two teams met in the ALCS last October. They will meet for the first time since that series here at Comerica Park tonight. Nice night for baseball. Glad to have you with us here this evening. Tigers starting their second homestand of 2012. The Texas starting lineup tonight brought to you by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It'll be Ian Kinsler leading it off at second base, followed by Elvis Andrus. Josh Hamilton is in left field. Adrian Beltre at third. Michael Young, the DH. Nelson Cruz is in right field. You've got Napoli, Torrealba, and Craig Gentry rounding it out for Ron Washington's squad. The Tigers starting pitcher is Adam Wilk tonight. He is presented by Soaring Eagle Casino.
Adam Wilk will need to be at his best today against this high-octane offense of the Texas Rangers. He gave up a couple of earned runs to the Chicago White Sox 5 days ago. But what he'll need to do against the Rangers, he'll need that really good changeup and breaking ball, and he'll have to spot his fastball, and he must keep it down.
Well, we'll see how he's able to do against this really tough Texas offense tonight. By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow, and you'll get yourself a free small order of curly fries.
Tigers defensive alignment is always sponsored by the fine folks at Beaumont Health System. In the outfield, it's Kelly, it's Jackson and Bosch, Cabrera, Peralta, Santiago, Fielder. In the infield, and Alex Avila is back behind the plate tonight after getting a night off in Kansas City last night.
Well, you wonder how well Adam Wilk would have done at his first major league start had he not been knocked out of the game taking a foul ball while he was sitting in the dugout, but his numbers were pretty good in that first start.
Well, what he was able to do, other than making a couple of mistakes up in the strike zone, which cost him a couple of runs, he was able to throw his changeup fading down and away from some of the right-handers. And Adam, although he doesn't throw very hard, he wasn't afraid to crowd some of the righties with a fastball about 86, 87 miles an hour.
This will be a much stiffer challenge here tonight. The hard-hitting Rangers come to town. Ian Kinsler settling into the batter's box. It'll be Kinsler, Andrus, and Josh Hamilton here at the ballpark this evening. 4 games against Texas. The Rangers have won 6 straight. The Tigers have won 4 straight. Wilk is waiting patiently on Kinsler, who finally settles into the box. And here's the first pitch of the ball game. Low and in, 1 ball and no strikes on Kinsler. Kinsler has cooled a little bit. He's 4 for his last 21, but he's still hit 4 homers this year. Good power out of that leadoff slot. And Wilk throws a strike.
Ian Kinsler is one of the best all-around second basemen in the game. A couple of other guys come to mind in the American League, Robinson Cano and Dustin Pedroia. But he is right up there with both those guys.
2 balls and 1 strike.
And the one thing that he does that they don't do, he steals 30 bags a year.
Wilk's 2-1 pitch is hit right by Cabrera into left field. It's a leadoff single for Kinsler.
That's what Adam Wilk was able to do in his first start this year against the White Sox. The Tigers lost that game, but Wilk, he performed very well. But when he went to sit in the dugout in the 5th inning, he took a line drive shot off the left shoulder and had to leave the game prematurely.
Otherwise, it was a really good effort against Chicago. Gave up 3 hits in 5 innings. Here's Elvis Andrus. He's showing bunt, and there's a strike. 0-1. Andrus is hit safely in 3 straight. The batting average just .222 though to start the year. 1 home run. Kinsler, you mentioned, can steal some bases. A 30-30 guy last year. Go with that power, the good base stealing ability. That slap foul down the right field line.
Ian Kinsler, just as most of the base stealers of the Texas Rangers, have benefited from the leadership they've gotten from their first base coach, Gary Pettis. And Gary Pettis, when he played, tremendous base runner and an outstanding defender.
There's Gary in the coaching box at first base. Here's Wilk's 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Andrews is out of there. First strikeout tonight for Wilk.
Real nice late life on that breaking ball. Down and in to Elvis Andrews.
So now Josh Hamilton will step in with 1 out. And Hamilton is 11 for his last 18. There are a couple of Rangers that are absolutely red hot right now. There's a ground ball, base hit right field, out of the reach of fielder. Kinsler is on his way to third base. He'll get in there safely, and the Rangers now have runners at first and third.
Hamilton, as you mentioned, one of the hottest hitters in the game of baseball as we speak. The only other guy that is performing as well as Hamilton the first couple of weeks of the year is Matt Kemp of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
He's off to a torrid start.
He's got 7 big flies.
It's unbelievable. Here's Beltre, a .280 career hitter against the Tigers, hitting .292 in the young campaign.
If you're Adam Wilk, no need in panicking. Just keep the ball at the bottom of the strike zone and see if you can get Beltre to hit something on the ground, which would get you a double play and get you out of the inning.
Beltre has hit safely in his last 5. Wave and a miss. 1-1. Tigers right now with 2 rookies in the rotation, Wilk and Drew Smiley. Drew pitched really well in KC. There goes the runner, and it's fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Beltre. They had Hamilton on the move. Ron Washington, he's somewhere behind there, but he's done a terrific job getting his team to the World Series. There he is, each of the last 2 seasons.
Old school manager, but can really relate to this generation of players, just like Jim Leland. Come to work, you bring that lunch pail every day, work hard, and you're cool with Ron.
437 wins in his 6th season, back-to-back World Series appearances, and really a heartbreaking loss to the Cardinals in the World Series last year. I mean, they had that World Series won on 2 separate occasions, only to have the Cardinals come back. Only Bobby Valentine and Johnny Oates have won more as a skipper of the Rangers. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Beltre goes down. He just looked like he had an uncomfortable at bat. 2 strikeouts for Wilk.
Wilk didn't give him a whole lot to hit, and once he was able to get ahead of him, he was able to expand the strike zone, and a really nice fading changeup down and away from Beltre. Off the plate, but Beltre still swung at it. Not out of the woods yet. This Texas Rangers team is just like the Tigers team. They just keep coming at you with really quality big league hitters.
And Michael Young is as quality as they get. And he sends a ground ball left side under the glove of Cabrera into left field. It's a base hit, and the Rangers take a 1-0 lead. 3 singles in the inning as Young gets his 11th RBI.
The Texas Rangers have a lot of talent on their team, a lot of power, some guys that can run, good defenders, good pitching staff, but Michael Young is the glue to the team. He is the glue to the Texas Rangers.
Veteran presence that has moved around different positions over the years, and he is usually good for around 200 hits, as he was last year. Now Nelson Cruz with 2 on. He fouls it away. He was the villain last year in the ALCS, the MVP for the Texas Rangers. And almost single-handedly willed them to that win in that series.
He's also done a lot of damage against the Tigers in the regular season.
Here's the 0-1 from Wilk. A little bit outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Cruz also threw Cabrera out at the plate, didn't he, in one of the playoff games as well, in a throw from right field.
One of the best throwing arms from that position in baseball. He and Francoeur of the Kansas City Royals.
That sails outside, 2-1. How good was Nelson in the playoffs last year against the Tigers? In the CS, he had 6 homers, 13 RBIs. Great postseason. The 2-1. Now it's 3-1 on Cruz. Single by Kinsler started things. 1 out base hit by Hamilton, and then the RBI hit from Young. And he paints the outside corner. 3-2, full count. Rangers scoring their 70th run of the season here in the first inning tonight, and that's more than any other team in the American League. They just beat up on Boston before coming here. Runners go on 3-2, and it's fouled away. I mentioned this is a Rangers team that has won 6 in a row, 5 of those coming on this current road trip.
At bottom note, though, the earned run average, if you're pitching like that, you're going to win a whole lot of games.
3-2 pitch. Lifted in the air, center field. Jackson on the charge, and he'll get there to retire the side. Rangers settle for 1. They strand 2. We go to the bottom of the first. Cabrera at the top. Miguel 381 at home this year. Fielder is at first base, followed by Delman Young, Alex Avila catching, and Leland's bottom 3 tonight is Kelly, Peralta, and Santiago. Darvish of the Texas Rangers on the hill. He's presented by Fox Auto Group.
Darvish has a fastball that will get up to 95 miles an hour. Also has a slider, a curve, an occasional split-fingered fastball, making his 3rd start of the year. His first one wasn't very good. The second one a little bit better. He'll be looking to improve on that tonight against a very potent offense that the Tigers will run at him.
And so we'll see how Darvish is able to perform here in his third major league start. First pitch is in for a strike on Austin Jackson.
Jackson didn't like that. He thought that that was low, and he may have a beef.
1 for 11 in that series against KC. The one was a homer. That's fouled back out of play. 0-2.
Austin Jackson said that when he was a minor leaguer in the Yankees organization, he played in Hawaii, and there were quite a few Japanese pitchers that played in the winter league in Hawaii, and he said all of them had some kind of hesitation in their windup. So Darvish shouldn't be an issue for him as far as him stopping and starting.
There's the stop and the start, and he missed outside. Darvish is listed at 6'5", 216 out of Kobe City, Japan. 25 years old. He'll be 26 in mid-August. Tall, slender build. Breaking ball hit high in the air. Right center field, playable. Cruz under it. One gone.
Tim Hortons is the sponsor of the Texas Rangers defensive alignment here tonight. In the outfield, it's Hamilton in left, Gentry in center, Nelson Cruz in right. Adrian Beltre, 3 gold gloves on his mantle, is at third. Andrews Kinsler up the middle. Mike Napoli is starting at first base, and Torey Alba is the catcher.
Here's Brendan Bosch, batting .240. And Darvish starts him off with a fastball at 95 miles an hour. His arsenal is very deep. He will throw many different pitches, but when you come down to that fastball, mid-90s, still very impressive. Now the 1-0. Of course, the Rangers won the right to negotiate with Darvish. They posted the highest bid in the bidding process, and they signed him just before the January 12th deadline. They got it done right before the deadline to sign him. Swing and a miss. Otherwise, he would have gone back to Japan.
Rangers weren't going to allow that to happen.
In Japan, his numbers were overwhelming. A 1.99 career ERA in 7 seasons in the Pacific League in Japan.
Winning MVPs.
Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Bosch. So I guess with this guy, Rod, I mean, you can watch as much video and as much tape as you want, but until you go up there and see him a couple of times, you really, I guess, don't know what to expect.
That's right. You really don't know how the ball comes out of his hand. He has thrown a couple of fastballs right by Brennan, and Brennan was in a friendly fastball count.
Now Darvish with the 2-2, way outside. The one thing that they want to get Darvish to do is become more economical. In his first start, he threw 42 pitches in his first inning of work in the big leagues.
Well, one way for him to do that is he needs to get rid of some of those pitches and really concentrate on pounding the strike zone with the ones that he can really command, and that's the fastball, the slider, and the changeup.
Foul back. I guess it would come to a point where maybe too many pitches is not a good thing either, is it?
That's right.
3-2 on Bosch. 1-0 Rangers lead. They got a run at the top of the first on the RBI hit by Michael Young. And the full count pitch. Popped up foul and back into the seats.
When you face a pitcher like Darvish and he stops and starts and stops again, you can't pay much attention to what he's doing. Only when he picks that leg up and gets ready to deliver the ball to where you really start to dial in, and you just look for that window where the ball is coming out of. That's how you hit guys like Darvish.
Bosch 3 out of 13 in that series against KC. 6 hits on the road trip. And he lost it, ball 4.
Good at bat by Brennan.
He waited him out. He got himself a walk.
Really good take right here. Fastball, mid-90s. It was down. Brennan knew it. And so did home plate umpire Mike Estabrook.
Now Darvish will have to deal with Cabrera.
He's never seen anybody like Cabrera.
And Miguel getting back on track in the last couple of games. 2 hits again yesterday against KC. And he looks at ball 1.
That .371 career batting average that Cabrera has is the highest among all active players. So he has done a lot of damage against Texas Rangers pitching in his career.
Here's the 1-0. High, ball 2. Darvish needed over 100 pitches in each of his first 2 starts, but failed to get through the 6th inning in either start. He actually ended up getting a win in his first major league start, despite giving up 4 runs in the first. Now the 2-0. Gabby had a rip, fouled it straight back.
Cabby's starting to get dialed in, starting to keep that head down, that shoulder not flying off the baseball as it was over the weekend in Chicago. 4 hits in his last couple of games.
Bosch at first base with 1 out. And the 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Darvish has come out here tonight, and for the most part, he's thrown all fastballs. Very few off-speed pitches, if any, in the first 16 pitches he's thrown here tonight.
Cabrera 10 RBIs, good for 8th in the American League. And he calls that one back out of play.
Tigers continue to see an impressive string of starting pitching in the first couple of weeks of the season. But as Jim Leland would say, this is the big leagues.
It just seems to never end. I mean, it's almost like they're seeing a number 1 or number 1 type pitcher every single night. They're going to see Harrison and Feliz in the next 2 games in this series. And for as much notoriety as the Texas offense gets, it's been their pitching that has been really good this year. Here's the 2-2. Runner goes, and a bouncing ball hit to short. Andrews will gobble it up there. Cabrera is out, and Bosch goes to second.
Wise decision there by Jim, allowing Brennan Bosch to take off from first base, which allows them to stay out of 2. But with the open base here and very dangerous hitter standing in the batter's box in Prince Fielder, even though it's only the first inning, you wonder just how much he'll get to hit.
.356 this year for Prince. Good for 7th best in the American League, and he sends a ground ball to the second baseman Kinsler. He'll throw him out from the grass. And the inning is over. No runs, a walk, 1 left. Let's go to the second. Ram, Guts, Glory, Ram. And by Capri Sun, no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. Game time temp was in the 60s tonight here at the ballpark. Nighttime settling in here in the Motor City. The Tigers and Rangers. Big 4-game series in the early going. 1-0 in favor of Texas. Mike Napoli leads it off, and boy, has he been swinging the bat.
He has been swinging a hot stick since putting on that Texas Rangers uniform.
6 for his last 9, 8 RBIs, 3 homers in that series against Boston. Skies one in the air to right field, picking up steam. Bosch going back to the track, to the wall, and it's going to carry out. It's out of here, a home run for Mike Napoli.
A lot of wind blowing out toward right field here tonight. And it's not that Napoli isn't a strong fella, but he got it up in that jet stream, and that ball just continued to carry. He didn't hit that ball that hard.
I didn't think that had a chance to get out. But there is a strong wind out toward right field.
Napoli, one of those lift and separate kind of guys.
Rangers jump out to a 2-0 lead. As Napoli hits his 5th. Here is your Victor Alba. Bouncing ball back up the middle to his left, Johnny Peralta. One gone. It's Craig Gentry. 2 runs on 4 hits already for the best offense in the American League, the Rangers, at least in the early going. Gentry was a rookie last year. He hit .271 in his rookie season. All 3 of his hits this year coming against Boston. And Wilk slides one in for strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fouled off. Wilk was the Tigers minor league pitcher of the year in 2010. 11-5 record that year. An A-ball and AA. Here are the numbers. A 2.74 ERA.
He's never been a hard thrower. Not in high school. Really had to learn how to pitch. Go in, go out. Stay at the bottom of the strike zone. Change speeds. Throw breaking balls and fastball counts.
Sliced on a little looper to right field. It'll drop in, base hit for Gentry. It's a 1-out single. Hey, this game tonight is available in high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD Plus, sponsored by Xfinity from Comcast. That is the 5th hit already now for Texas, and that'll bring up the top of the order Ian Kinsler, who started the game with a single and scored their first run.
Ian Kinsler's a dead pull hitter, and so you always want to be careful when you're throwing him first pitch fastballs. He likes to turn on them.
Wilk played his college ball at Long Beach State, which has produced quite a few big league players. A lot of talent have come out of Long Beach State. Here's a strike on the outer edge. Adam was saying the other day that kids go to Long Beach. Every one of them that goes there because they want to play professional baseball. And at Long Beach, they expect to graduate their kids into professional baseball. Obviously, it doesn't happen for everyone, but for Wilk it has. Oh, he got him picked off. Fielder's throw hits the runner and goes into left field. Gentry trying for third. That's a bad idea. See you later. He's up by a couple of steps.
Rangers are a very aggressive base running squad. Prince Fielder throws the ball down and hits Gentry right in the helmet. But Don Kelly running in to back it up, does a little circle and then fires a strike over to Cabrera to tag Gentry out.
So the bases are empty with 2 outs. 0-1 on Kinsler. Fouled away 0-2. Gentry never really hesitated, but Kelly got to the ball quickly, and he was out by at least a couple of steps. Now Wilk has him set up 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kinsler last year hit 32 home runs, which established a career high for him. Two and two. He also hit better than 30 in 2009, 31 home runs. And the 2-2 pitch. Missed it outside. 3-2 now on Kinsler. Numbers on the last 3 years for Ian. He dipped down to 9 homers in 2010.
Ian just needs to stay healthy. He has found himself on the disabled list quite a few times in his big league career.
That's in the shallow center. Jackson coming hard. It's going to drop in. And Kinsler has his second hit, a little bloop single.
Looked like Jackson may have broken back on the swing of Kinsler, and you can't blame him. You just mentioned the fact that he hit 32 homers last year, so when he takes a big swing as an outfielder, your initial step is going to be back, and Jackson couldn't recover to come in and catch that pop-up.
6 hits now for Texas. They lead 2-0. They've scored a run here on the Napoli home run. Elvis Andrus, the batter. Ball 1.
Kinsler in his career has 136 steals. He's only been caught 22 times, so he's very efficient when he decides to steal. Better than 86% of the time he steals the base successfully.
That's down the right field line and foul. Andrews struck out back in the first. I mentioned the Rangers have 6 hits. They're kind of pecking away here tonight. Aside from the home run from Napoli, 5 of the 6 hits are singles. 1-1 on Elvis Andrus. Fouled away 1-2. So much is made of the power that the Rangers have, and they certainly have a lot of that, but they can run a little bit too. You talk about Kinsler, the ability to run. Andrews stole 37 last year.
They've got a good baseball team. They play good defense. They got a good bullpen, good rotation led by a good manager in Ron Washington. And their minor league system is very good too.
Rated the top minor league system coming into this season. There's another base hit to left field out of the reach of Peralta, and Andrus has his first hit tonight. 7 Texas hits.
Maybe been a changeup that was up in the strike zone that Andrus just found a hole on the left side of the infield with.
Now the unenviable task of facing Hamilton with 2 men on. And there go the runners. Popped up foul toward the seats and out of play. Rangers have been running all over the base paths here in this inning. Kinsler and Andrews were on the move there.
Texas Rangers were 18 of 22 last year in steals of third base.
Ground ball, first base side, fair ball. Prince has it. Hamilton never ran. And the inning is over. They get a run on the home run by Napoli, but that's it. Second here at Comerica Park, and it'll be Delman Young, Alex Avila, and Don Kelly facing Yu Darvish, who threw 19 pitches in the first. Walked a batter, but did not give up any runs. Delman Young digs in against Darvish. 7 hits already for Texas. Fouled straight back, 0-1 on Delman. Young at 268, couple of hits in the Kansas City series. He is a .321 career hitter against Texas pitching. But they are facing Darvish for the first time. They haven't seen him before. The 0-1.
One of the few breaking balls Darvish has thrown in the ball game so far tonight through the first 21 pitches. And he's thrown about 90% heaters so far.
Does that surprise you at all, considering the Tigers are a pretty good fastball hitting team?
Sort of, but I talked to Ron Washington before the game today, and he says that's the one thing that they're trying to get Darvish to do a little bit better job of early in the game, and that's kind of establishing your fastball and working inside and working outside, then sort of getting to your secondary pitches maybe second time through the batting order, which is what he hadn't been doing the first couple of starts and even in spring training.
Bender misses high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's got a slider. He's got a couple different breaking balls. Lloyd McClendon also told me that he will throw an occasional split-fingered fastball as well. So he has an assortment of different pitches.
There's the breakdown. Lifted in the air toward left field. Hamilton is there. 1 out. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, because you have experience with this, having played in Japan, how different is the strike zone, and is that any adjustment for Darvish to make?
I don't think the strike zone is any different than it is or was for him in Japan. I think the biggest difference for him is he's going to be facing a whole lot better hitters than he was facing in Japan. So his numbers were very good in Japan, 2-time MVP, but there were no Cabreras over there. There were no Prince Fielders in Japan. There were no Albert Pujols in Japan. He's going to see a lot of those guys this year.
Well, here is Alex Avila batting with 1 out. Ball high to Avila. Darvish was a 5-time All-Star. Won a couple of ERA titles. We documented his numbers a little bit earlier. I mean, they were absolutely dominant over in Japan. The 1-0. Good breaking ball. Drops in nicely. 1-1.
He's already shown us a really good breaking ball. He's shown us a slider as well. And his fastball has been clocked at 95 miles an hour. He just kind of flips that up there really nice and easy. That was a cutter with some really nice late life on it.
Darvish back in spring training didn't start all that fast, but he's got more acclimated to spring training. He really poured it on toward the end. In fact, he had an 11 strikeout game against Colorado on March 30th.
Mike Maddox, their pitching coach, who has done marvelous work with this Texas Rangers staff since they hired him.
Bouncing ball to short. Andrews waits for the hop off to his left. 2 outs. So far the only blemish for Darvish, the walk to Bosch back in the first. Here's Don Kelly.
Jim getting a couple of extra left-handers in his batting order tonight against Darvish. Darvish's numbers haven't been very good in the first couple of starts against left-handed batting. So Jim taking advantage of having Kelly and Santiago in the starting 9 tonight.
Strike 1 on Don Kelly. Kelly being utilized in left field. Delton Young, the DH this evening. The 0-1. First of 4 at the ballpark this weekend between Texas and the Tigers, and then Seattle comes in.
2 heavyweights, 2 of the best teams in baseball.
Another breaking ball. This one drops in for a strike. 1-2.
It appears that he can throw that breaking ball over the plate whenever he wants to.
Stroke to center field, and that'll drop. Base hit. Tigers have their first hit tonight. 2-out single. That'll keep the inning going now for Johnny Peralta. .317 start for Peralta. Was 4 out of 8 against Kansas City. Ball 1. Johnny also has 6 doubles in the early going. Good for second in the American League. Providing some offensive power down at the bottom of the lineup. Still looking for that first home run, though. Johnny takes outside. Johnny will hit a few home runs. He hit 21 last year. And what turned out to be an all-star season for the Tigers shortstop. And the 2-0. Breaking ball and a fastball count, and Peralta waves and misses.
If you can do that up here with regularity, you're going to win your fair share of games, especially with the stuff that Darvish has.
Darvish last year over in Japan had 10 complete games, 6 shutouts. That's high, 3-1.
If you're Peralta, even though in the 2-0 count, Darvish threw you a breaking ball, which is a very good breaking ball, you can't get caught looking for that pitch right now. You have to continue to look for your fastball because it is a 3-1 count, and that's exactly what you should be looking for. If he throws you a breaking ball, that's okay.
He got the fastball and fouled it away. 3-2.
And more than likely on the 3-2 count, Don Kelly will be on the move. Well, obviously it's 2 strikes, 2 outs.
2 outs. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball rolled towards short. Andrews gathers it up. And Darvish gives up a single, but nothing more. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Beltre, who, by the way, is one of 3 third basemen in Major League history to win 3 Gold Gloves and 3 Silver Slugger awards. The others are Mike Schmidt and Matt Williams. Only 3 third basemen have done that.
Pretty good company.
Indeed. Beltre, a combination of a guy that can get it done with the bat and the glove.
Good leader in the clubhouse, too. Good teammate.
He'll be followed by Young and Cruz, and he swings on the first pitch and sends it to shallow left field. Don Kelly comes in. It's a good way to start the third. 1 gone. Now Michael Young. 2 runs, 7 hits for Texas. No runs, 1 hit for Detroit. Napoli is homered in this game, and Young has the other RBI, singled 1 in back in the first. Rangers, though, have already left 4 men on base. Ball 1 to Young. Young missed a game with some back stiffness. He is back in there tonight, though. Temperature cooling off a little bit. It's 57 degrees right now. And that breeze that we spoke of that is blowing out toward right field.
Michael Young has made a living, just like Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, at hitting balls the opposite way for base hits. And they both do it with the classic inside-out swing, where they lead with the bat knob and the bat head kind of lags out over the plate, which creates that angle which allows you to drive the ball the opposite way with authority.
Really showing no signs of slowing down either. Career best 338 last year.
Can hit, but no one really talks about him that much.
Nope, not a whole lot with some of the other names they have in this lineup. That's back out of play. And it's popped up right side of the infield. Prince in foul ground. 2 outs. So Wilk is in search of his first 1-2-3 inning. He'll have to get Nelson Cruz to get it, though. Cruz fly to center field in his first at bat.
This Rangers lineup is deep.
There aren't too many days off in there, are there?
It's deep.
Mike Napoli, who has homered in this game, is batting 7th in their lineup. Cruz is hitting 6th. These guys are really good run producers. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1 on Cruz. Cruz continues to battle the hamstring injuries. He had a quad problem as well last year. He landed on the DL twice. Swing and a miss. And so the Rangers have had to navigate through all of his injury troubles, but when he is on the field, he produces.
Fastball about 6 inches off the plate. Cruz couldn't catch up with it.
2-2.
The one thing that I've noticed that Adam is not doing today, that he did a little bit better job of against the White Sox, is he pitched inside a little bit more. Not pitched inside, but he would show inside.
There's the base hit. It finds a hole. It's another single for this Texas offense, and the hits are starting to pile up.
Therefore, just about every single one of these Texas Rangers hitters, they're just looking away from him. This is really not that bad a pitch. It's a changeup. It's up, but it's off the plate. But there is no fear in the Rangers hitters that Wilk's going to come inside. Therefore, he's able to drive that ball the opposite way. You have to at least show inside.
7 of the 8 hits for Texas tonight are singles. Here's the guy that has the extra base hit. Mike Napoli homered. He got it up in the jet stream that is blowing out toward right field tonight. A high towering fly ball that carried out. And Napoli now with 5 home runs this year.
Napoli is picking up right where he left off last year.
Rangers lead the league at homers with 23. Yeah, it was a really good season last year for Napoli. A one-time Angel. Napoli is probably the MVP of the World Series last year, had the Cardinals not come back to win it. Hit 320 last year with 30 home runs. Hit 350 in the World Series. And he's ahead 2-0. Fouled straight back. "54 pitches now for Wilk."
They've all been stressful too.
Rangers leading 2-0 in the third. They got one in each of the first 2 innings. Now the 2-1. In there, a strike. 2-2 on Mike Napoli.
Napoli was sitting on an off-speed pitch there. He didn't think there was no way that Adam Wilk would throw him a fastball in a 2-1 count. Therefore, he let the fastball go right down the middle.
Oh, they got another runner picked off. Prince will throw down to second. The tag in time. The goal's caught stealing, but Cruz is out of there. Hitting over. We'll go to the bottom of the third. The Tigers had some good success against Texas.
Well, Texas has had some difficulty beating the Tigers here at Comerica Park during the regular season. And last year, when the season began, a couple of walk-off wins for Detroit against the Texas Rangers. One hit by Cabby and a big fly by Brandon Inge.
Tonight we go to the bottom of the third. It's 2-0 in favor of Texas. And Santiago will lead it off. And Ramon takes inside from Darvish. Walk and a single tonight, the only 2 Tigers base runners.
Adrian Beltre, excuse me, down at third base is playing on the grass, expecting possible bunt from Santiago. But Ramon usually doesn't bunt in that direction. Usually when Santiago decides to bunt for a base hit, he kind of drags the ball towards second base. He tries to get it past the pitcher.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike on Santiago. 1 for 3 in the series against KC. He'll be followed by Jackson and then Bosch. Here's the 2-1. Tap foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Inside, run it full now. 3-2 on Santiago. Darvish 38 pitches after 2 innings. He's up to 43 now. And he walked him. Leadoff base on balls for Detroit. Hey, you can vote for your Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game tonight, presented by the McCafe Frappe. Using your cell phone, text Tigers followed by a space of the player's uniform number to 37338. Or if you'd like, you can vote online at foxsportsdetroit.com. See the final results postgame when we show you the winner on Tigers Live.
I could use one of those about right now after getting to sleep real late last night.
The McCafe Frappe?
Yeah, they got caffeine in them, bro.
I'm sure they do. What time did you get to bed last night?
About 3:45.
Yep, I'm right there with you. The Tigers, of course, had a night game in KC. Likewise, Texas, though, they got late into the Motor City. So these are two teams that may be a step slow tonight.
Probably the only ones on the field today that really got a good night's sleep are Darvish and Adam Wilk, who probably flew ahead of their clubs to get to Detroit. Starting pitchers.
Here's the 0-1. Scattered foul back into the seats. 0-2. Well, we got in late, but at least the Tigers were able to pull off the sweep in that series against KC. A very entertaining series. And after losing the first 2 of the road trip, they won 4 straight.
Jim said he felt like the team was getting out of Kansas City at the right time. He feels like the Kansas City Royals are getting ready to start playing a little bit better baseball.
Strike called on the outer edge. Jackson is out. Darvish has a strikeout. His first of the evening.
Not a whole lot Jackson can do with this 95-mile-per-hour fastball at the knees on the black, right in the glove of the catcher Torey Alba. Talk about hitting the glove.
Right there.
Wow.
Here's Bosch with 1 out. Strike 1 on Brennan. He was able to work Darvish for a base on balls back in the first inning. Tried the outer edge that time at 95 with a fastball but missed.
He looks impressive. Spotting that fastball in the mid-90s with a really good breaking ball, a slider, and a cutter at about 92 miles an hour.
Well, the Rangers invested heavily in him.
Only 25 years old.
Fouled away.
Usually pitchers from Japan do not come stateside at the tender age of 25. They usually come in their 30s. Tomooka was younger than Darvish. Darvish's second youngest starting pitcher to come stateside.
Well, the minute he came to the Texas Rangers organization, he was listed by Baseball America as their top prospect. So he shot up all the way to number 1.
Just like that.
Just like that. Throwback. Santiago let it off for the walk. Seven seasons in Japan. He won a couple of MVPs, 5-time All-Star. And yet he still has a lot of baseball ahead of him here in the States at the age of 25. Swing and a miss. And Bosch goes down swinging. Darvish comes right back with a pair of strikeouts.
He's spotting his fastball in the mid-90s, and then he drops that breaking ball on you in the bottom. And it just kind of fell out of that pitch. Look at that ball. Kind of stays on the fastball plane all the way until it gets in the hitting zone and just disappeared on Brennan.
Now Cabrera with 2 outs. Skies this one in the air. Center field. Gentry is under it. And nothing comes of the leadoff walk. No runs, no hits, 1 left. We go to the 4th. Top of the 4th here at the ballpark. Time now for the Ace Hardware Scott's fan poll question of the game. What team will finish with the best record in the American League? A, Tigers, B, Rangers, C, Yankees, D, Rays. To enter your vote, text ACE followed by a space and the letter answer to 37338. Final results coming up, post-game edition of Tigers Live. So make your vote. And Wilk back to the hill now as we go to the top of the 4th inning.
Ace is giving up on the Angels already.
They didn't make the list. There's only 4 spots. There's a base hit to left. A lot of people are giving up on the Angels already. Angels 4-8.
They'll be all right.
Meanwhile, another single for Texas.
First pitch swinging. Breaking ball right over the plate off the end of the bat. But a single. Napoli got a chance to see quite a few pitches the last time he was up in that batter's box when Nelson Cruz was caught stealing.
Mike Napoli in his last 4, as you can see, is just on fire now. 9 for 15. Your Torrealba looks at ball 1. Seems like wherever Torrealba goes, they get to the playoffs. He was on a playoff team in San Francisco, one in Colorado with Texas. Veteran catcher's been around a while. Wilk slides one in there for a strike. 1-1. Caught 95 games last year, which was more than any of the other Texas catchers on their roster. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Rangers got a run in the first on an RBI single by Michael Young, and then Mike Napoli, a solo home run to start things off in the second. High fly ball left field, chasing Kelly back. He's under it. Napoli tagging but holding. 1 out.
The center fielder, first injury.
Here's Gentry. Gentry is another one of those Rangers that can run. Last year in his rookie season, he was 18 of 18 in stolen bases. Had a single back in the second. And he shows bunt, drops it down to third. Cabrera's going to backhand and does well to hold on to the baseball. No shot at throwing him out. Bunt single for the speedy Gentry.
The key to bunting the baseball where Gentry bunted it is you have to stay in the batter's box until you make contact with the ball. And what I mean by that is you're not running and trying to bunt at the same time. And if you do that and you place it where he placed that one, no shot for Cabrera.
How about this? The Rangers now have 10 hits. The home run by Napoli and the rest are singles. Another jam now for Wilk. There's Kinsler. A little bit low, 1-0 on Kinsler. And he's got 2 of those hits himself, singles in the second and first innings. And this year batting .400 with runners in scoring position.
I guess if you're Wilk and you're going to give up 10 hits, you may as well give up singles. The only extra base hit, the big fly to Napoli.
But you wonder how many of these jams he can continue to pitch out of. Only 2 runs on 10 hits so far. They have stranded 4 runners and had one thrown out at third base as well. That's driven to right field. Bosch heading back to the warning track. Runners will tag. Both trying to move up and safe at second base.
This Rangers team is very aggressive. Very aggressive.
Jim Leyland didn't like this call. Gentry's not afraid, is he?
Really good throw by Brennan. One hopper to Peralta. And a bang play at second base. Paul Schreiber right there, second base umpire.
I think he got in there just ahead of the tag. This should tell us.
He's safe.
Good call.
Great call.
So the runners move up. Now a 2-out shot for Elvis Andrus. Back out of play, 0-1. Anything hit out to right field tonight and you have to hold your breath. The home run by Napoli rode the wind out. 65 pitches now for Wilk. Yet he's 1 out away from stranding 2 more. The 0-1. Ground ball left side. Cabrera scoops it up. And Wilk pitches out of another jam. Another missed opportunity for Texas. They strand 2 more.
slugger. It looks like he's a keeper.
I'm kind of digging him.
Numbers are nice. 356 batting average coming in. He's getting some knocks, multi-hit games, providing some really nice protection for Cabrera, which was the main reason why they got him. Well, that and the fact that he can hit you 40 and drive in 100.
That's pretty good, too. Great influence in the clubhouse. And already working on some new dance moves with Miguel Cabrera. And they have really formed pretty good combos so far, but I think they've only scratched the surface. As we move along in this season, I think we'll start to see what they can really do.
I would agree with that. They kind of feed off one another. We've already seen that in the first 11 games of the year.
Fielder Young and Avila in the Tigers' 4th inning. Rangers have to be a little bit frustrated at this point. They have 10 hits but only 2 runs to show for it. And they have stranded 6 men on base.
And they know this Tigers offense can erupt at any moment.
Sooner or later. Darvish missing high and away. 3-0 now on Prince. Fielder bounced out his first time up. And he's taking on 3-0. It's in there. Fastball from Darvish.
.727 after a Cabrera hit. Wow.
That would qualify as feeding off each other. And there's ball 4. Another walk for Darvish. That's his 3rd. Leadoff man is on. It's going to bring up Delman Young.
None of the right-handed batters for Detroit has reached base safely in this game, but the left-handers have. Kelly with a base hit and 3 walks. 1 to Bosch, 1 to Prince, and 1 to Santiago. So it looks like he may be having a little difficult time against left-handers.
He got Young to fly out. And that one's down the right field line. Fair ball to the corner it goes.
Look at Prince.
He's motoring. Prince coming to 3rd. They'll stop in there though with nobody out. Double for Delman Young. And here come the Tigers. That'll get the crowd going.
Delman stays on this baseball nicely. It's up at the top of the strike zone, and it looked like he was trying to drive the ball into right center field. Little late with his swing, so it ended up on the line. And Prince needed no help from Gene to let him know that he could make it over to 3rd base safely.
Tigers have posted just their 2nd hit of the game.
4th knock of the year for Delman. The opposite way. Delman's always been known as a dead pull hitter.
So here is Avila. Tying runs in scoring position for the Tigers, and Avila takes strike 1.
Alex was so good in these situations last year. Runner on 3rd, less than 2 out. No panic. He realizes that the pitcher is on the ropes. Therefore, he got himself really good pitches to hit. And for the most part, he was able to do the job.
Ground ball foul, first base side.
It's a nice job there by Avila, because really in this situation, and what you want to try to do as a hitter is a ground ball to the second baseman works. That scores 1, and that also gets Delman Young over to 3rd base with just 1 out.
Tigers got a walk in the 1st, a single in the 2nd, a walk in the 3rd, and now a hit and a walk here in the 4th. Inside, Torrealba can't find it, but it's right at his feet. Or he was bluffing 1 and 2.
He called for the breaking ball, which meant he had to get down and smother it, and he did.
Wave and a miss, and Avila is down on strikes, and Darvish with a big strikeout for the first out of the inning. 3 strikeouts now for Darvish.
Look at Torey Albert, the catcher here, playing games with Avila. Now, he's holding his glove up, and he's hoping that Avila can see him out of the corner of his eye, holding the glove up, only knowing that he's called for a breaking ball. Playing games with Avila.
Here's Kelly. Ball 1.
Out of the corner of your eye, if you see the catcher kind of reach up with that glove a couple of times, you can see it up there. And, you know, so it's just games that these catchers play with the hitters sometimes.
It resulted in the strikeout of Avila, the first out of the inning. Here's the 1-0 to Kelly. John takes inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Kelly had a single against Darvish back in the second. One of the 2 Tiger hits. Checked it, but he went. Inning started with a walk to fielder, and then Young doubled down the right field line. 66 pitches now for Darvish. I remember watching his first start when he threw 42 pitches in his very first inning of his very first start, but never really seemed to be rattled by it, and eventually won the game. There's a strike call. He has pitched internationally in the World Baseball Classic, gold medal winning team in '09 with Japan. Two and two. Peralta waiting on deck. Fill it now, 3-2. Rangers pitching has been really good. Their rotation is undefeated. Their rotation is 8-0. Their starters have gotten it done. And their relievers have been equally as good on their current road trip. Three-two pitch. Fought it off. Bouncing ball right side. We'll get a run in. Give Kelly an RBI, his first of the year. Fielder scores, and it's 2-1.
Nice 2-strike approach by Don Kelly, just trying to put the ball in play with the defenders on the Texas Rangers playing back. That's all you need to do.
And his teammates appreciate it. Kelly makes it a 2-1 ball game. Tying run at third now with 2 outs. Here's Peralta trying to tie it up. And he takes ball 1. Tigers getting the leadoff man on for the second straight inning, but this time they make good on it. Johnny bounced out, ending the second. And the 1-0. 1-1 on Johnny Peralta. In the air, shallow right field. Nelson Cruz to end the inning. Tigers get on the board, though, on the RBI ground out by Kelly. And it turned out to be a big play.
Yeah, and he got hurt on that ball. They noticed that there was no one at home plate because Victor was over with Brandon Inge, and Hamilton with his speed tried to score. Inge flipped the ball to Victor, and Victor was able to tag him out, but that wasn't the worst of it. Hamilton landed on the disabled list for 6 to 8 weeks with that injury. Was it like a little collarbone or something like that?
No, it was a broken arm. It was the humerus bone. And at the time, the Rangers were 9-1, and a couple of weeks later they were 18-18 with him out of the lineup. Meanwhile, Hamilton launches his bat into the seats.
Yeah, he did. That's about as fine a launch job as you're going to see.
And they're going to fight for the bat. Watch this.
I'm surprised Hamilton didn't ask for that bat back, because as hot as he has been, you know he's been using the same bat. He just went and grabbed another one. If you can hit, I guess you can just hit.
It doesn't matter, does it? 1 ball, 1 strike. Big swing there by Hamilton. 1-2.
Hamilton is a free agent after this year is over, and there are no talks between he and the Texas Rangers right now. But if he continues to play at the clip that he's playing at right now, he's going to get himself a really nice contract at the end of this year.
What a supremely talented athlete. I mean, really from the day he was drafted, and of course his issues off the field have been well documented, but on the field, this guy is as good as anybody in this league. The 2-2 is outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Won the MVP over Cabrera a couple of years ago. You could have made the argument, and we did over and over for Miguel, but Hamilton won it.
Josh is the definition of a 5-tool player. He can do everything above average that you need to do to be a really good big league player.
He's just drawn a walk.
Hey fans, the ALCS rematch continues tomorrow when the Tigers battle the Texas Rangers at 7:05. Tickets are on sale now. Call 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com.
So Adam Wilk will depart the scene after issuing his first walk. Colin Ballister comes in. Wallside windows pitching change, and we'll be back to Comerica.
Night is done, and I think what happened here is Jim Leyland realizes that he's already pitched out of a number of jams and he's not going to pitch out of another one. But take a look at where the location is of most of the hits that Adam gave up today. Just about every single one of them is away from the Texas Rangers. They kind of knew that, and they were able to hit balls the opposite way. They even took the fastball and pulled it to the pull field because the velocity only about 86, 87 miles an hour.
So Colin Ballister comes out of the bullpen now for Detroit. in a 2-1 ball game.
Most managers will let you pitch out of a couple of jams. They will not let you pitch out of that third one. And Adam pitched in a lot of stress here today.
That third one was brewing here in the 5th following the leadoff walk. Beltre fouls it away.
Beltre has a really good fastball. He'll get up to 98 miles an hour. Also a slider and a changeup. They acquired him from the Washington Nationals for Ryan Perry.
Rangers are 4 for 11 with runners on tonight, but they have just 1 RBI. And there's a line drive foul. 0-2.
They've been very aggressive today. They can swing that stick.
Well, of the two teams out in the West, and coming into the season, we thought Texas and the Angels were probably neck and neck in terms of talent and who would win that division. Texas clearly has jumped out to a good start early on at 10-2. There's a ground ball to third. Cabrera, tough play. Throws to second, pulled him off the bag, safe. That'll put 2 aboard.
Really nice backhand pick by Cabrera, but kind of rushed his throw over to Santiago. Had he kind of planted his feet and then firmly threw to Santiago, they at least would have gotten the 1 out at second base.
And the reaction of Cabrera. It'll go as an error. And now we'll see how much that opens the door for Texas as Michael Young digs in. 2-1 Rangers lead in the 5th. Young an RBI single his first at bat. Backs away from a breaking ball. 0-1. That might be the first time this year that I've not seen Cabrera make an accurate throw, and he was a little bit off balance there.
That's the reason why. The throw wasn't on the money.
The 0-1. Had a chat with Rafael Belliard before the game today about Cabrera, and he said he went back and looked at some of his video in 07 when he was playing third base for the Marlins and was struggling, and he said one of the things I noticed was he just didn't have good balance, and they've really worked on his footwork and improved that this year. And by and large, he's been on the money. 0-2. Out. This will get away from Avila. It'll go to the backstop, advance the runners. Rangers really don't need any help. Wild pitch.
Yeah, Avila had no shot at catching that mid-90s fastball from Ballister.
Still nobody out. Walk led the inning off. Beltre reaching. And Cabrera's throw was high at second base. Now the wild pitch. Ballister taking too long. The runner at third base still the responsibility of the starter. That was Adam Wilk. And it was Hamilton who led it off with a walk. Way inside again. Avila was able to corral that one. 2-2. Michael Young loves hitting in this ballpark. Over his career, he's hitting .317 here at Comerica. And the 2-2. Fouled back out of play. Young began his career in the Toronto Blue Jays organization and was kind of a nondescript, no-name infielder in the minor leagues with the Blue Jays, and a couple of years in their system he was traded to the Texas Rangers in a deal involving Esteban Loaiza, and now all these years later he's just racking up tons of hits. Over 2,000 for Michael Young, the franchise leader in all of these categories. Again, the 2-2. And again, he fouls it back out of play. Tigers last year won 6 of the 9 between the two teams in the regular season. Obviously, the ALCS was a much different story. Rangers eliminating the Tigers, going on to the World Series. Avila stops it, now 3-2. And it's starting to look like, Rod, that this Texas team is going to have a pretty good shot at getting back there. At least they'll be in contention.
It's a good baseball team.
Man.
Well-rounded. Speed at the top. Power in the middle.
They lost C.J. Wilson to the Angels, but they acquired Darvish.
Good starting pitching. Good bullpen. They can beat you in a lot of different ways.
Oh, he froze him with a breaking ball. Ballister wanted it, didn't get it.
That's a strike.
Did he fool the umpire?
It fooled Michael Young for sure. I guess it was inside.
Yes, Mr. Foxtrack says so. And so did Mike Estabrook. So now you've got a bases loaded situation and nobody out. And Nelson Cruz coming up. Way inside, and he takes a seat.
Ballister has gone aggressively inside to the right-handers that he had seen in this inning. He went inside a couple of times on Michael Young as well.
Little floater hit towards second on one hop. Santiago, it gets through him into right field. Hamilton scores. Everybody moves up 90 feet, and it's 3-1 Texas.
That ball just stayed down on Santiago, and had he been able to pick it, that would have been a double play because the runners had to hold up. That's one of the things that they tell you, that when you're going to field a ground ball, you work from the ground up. And I don't think I've ever seen that happen to Santiago. A ball go right through his legs. You work from the ground up with your glove, and then you make the necessary adjustment. You can't make the adjustments if your glove's high and you try to go down and get it.
And the Rangers now lead 3-1. Still nobody out. Bases still loaded. Second error of the game for the Tigers, who by and large this year have been outstanding defensively in the first 2 weeks of the year. Tigers had just 3 errors in the first 12 games. They were second in the American League in fielding percentage. They've committed 2 miscues tonight. Swing and a miss.
One more look at what I'm talking about here as far as the glove is concerned. The glove needs to be on the ground right now. Santiago's glove is not down, and therefore not able to make the play.
Oh, 2 on Mike Napoli. He tried to hold up but couldn't do it. That's a big strikeout for Ballister. 1 gone. A much needed strikeout.
Ballister has a really good breaking ball to go along with that 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Couldn't locate one better than that.
A lot more work to do, though. Here is Torrealba. At least Ballister right now facing the bottom of the Texas lineup. Torrealba is 0 for 2. Bender missing inside. .319 career with the bases loaded. 4 slams for Torrealba. Rangers tonight out hitting the Tigers 10-2. High fly ball left center field. Jackson coming over. Runner tagging at third. Catch is made, and the throw from Jackson will be tardy. Sac fly. RBI for Torrealba. Beltre comes around to score. And it's 4-1 Texas. First RBI of the year for Torrealba. There's Gentry. He bunted his way on back in the 4th. A couple of hits tonight for the number 9 hitter, Craig Gentry. There go the runners. Big jumps. Throw down to third. Not in time.
They just keep coming at you, don't they?
Unbelievable.
Wow. You cannot forget about them for one moment.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Gentry. Steals for Young and Cruz. Gentry, however, finds himself in an 0-2 hole. And the 0-2. Breaking ball that missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Craig Gentry. He battled some injuries in spring training, a knee problem, a hamstring problem, a wrist problem. Seventh man to bat in the inning. They've had a couple of walks. Tigers have committed 2 errors. They've had a sac fly. He fights that one off to stay alive. Texas 1 run in the first, 1 in the second, 2 here in the 5th. Darvish gave up 1 in the 4th, and that's it. Swing and a miss, and Ballister gets him. Gentry is out, but they get 2 runs. You're watching Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire. coming back for more without emptying your wallet. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Now the Rangers have added to their lead. It's now 4-1, courtesy of a couple of Tigers errors in the top of the 5th inning. Santiago leads it off against Darvish and hits one in the air to center, but it's run down for out number 1. Now we'll bring up the top of the order now, Austin Jackson. What do you think of Darvish so far through a little over 4 innings?
I like him. I like him a lot. He has settled in his 3rd start in his big league career. Good fastball. He's spotting it well in mid-90s. A couple of different breaking balls. Has a chance to win a lot of games for the Texas Rangers, especially with their offense.
Yeah, he's got to be loving this offense. In fact, in his first start, we mentioned he gave up 4 first-inning runs, but they would go on to get him 11 runs in that game, and he won it. So we got an early view of just how much offensive support he's going to get on a nightly basis. Missed outside.
I really like that cut fastball he's throwing too. That last pitch to Jackson. I mean, that's got some really late movement to it.
Three 3-0 on Jackson. Jackson a fly ball and a strikeout in this game. And the 3-0 pitch. That's in there, a strike. 3-1.
Got a smooth delivery. There's a lot to like about Mr. Darvish.
Well, he's gotten a lot of attention here in the United States, but it's something that he is used to. He got a lot of attention in Japan as well. In fact, they say rock star status in Japan, but he's brought his act here to the States. And with the contract that he signed and the bidding process and his talent, of course, he has certainly been a big draw. Here's the 3-2 pitch. With a tapper hit back slowly toward third. Beltre scooping, throwing. Wow, what a play by Beltre.
He is one of the best in our league at doing that. He won a Gold Glove last year. He comes in, looked like he lost his footing right before he threw this ball, but still had enough on the throw to get Jackson out. He slipped right at the end of that. What a defender.
Two outs. Here's Bosch. Gold Glove defender at third base. Breaking ball away, 1-0. Who do you think came to the big leagues with more fanfare, Ichiro or Darvish?
Darvish.
I agree. And Ichiro was big news when he came in back in
he was
2000, 2001.
He sure was. He backed it up too.
Yeah. Skying in the air, shallow left center field. The shortstop going back. That's Andrews, but he's called off. And it was Hamilton who made the play. And Darvish has a 1-2-3 5th inning. me a question. Other than Texas, what 4 teams have won consecutive American League pennants since 1969? The Rangers have gone to the World Series each of the last 2 years. There have been 4 other teams that have won consecutive AL pennants since '69. Can you name them?
I think I have one of them. How many did you get?
I got all 4.
Got all 4 of them?
It took me a little bit. I had to think it through. There's a strike called as we go to the 6th inning. Ian Kinsler, the batter.
Well, actually, I have 2.
Just go down the standings and we'll figure it out. We'll get all 4. It's fouled off. No balls, 2 strikes on Kinsler. A couple of hits tonight for Kinsler, both singles and a run scored. 14 runs scored now, leads the major league. That's no surprise. If he gets on base, more than likely with the artillery behind him, he'll come around to score. The 0-2 popped up. Peralta to the grass. Kinsler is out, 1 gone. He'll bring up Elvis Andrus. One for 3 for Elvis. Ballister's been featuring that breaking ball, and he had Andrus buckling out of the way.
It's been a good pitch for him. You go 95 with the fastball, you back off to 79 with that breaking ball.
Back-to-back breaking balls. Missed with both of them, though, 2-0.
And Ron Washington told me before the game that Andrus, even though the batting average is not very high, has been hitting some balls hard. Just nothing to show for it first couple of weeks of the year. But one thing that he has improved on, he's improved defensively so far. He committed 25 errors last year, has not committed one yet this year.
He can do some things with the bat. I mean, he's been a good bunter. There's a strike. In fact, he has rolled up 70, rank at 45 strikeouts the last 3 years. Not strikeouts, sacrifices, I should say. And you know, that coupled with the speed, his ability to handle the bat, makes him a really good number 2 hitter. The 3-1 in there for a strike. 3-2 on Elvis Andrus.
The Texas Rangers team is not a boring team. We've watched them already take off from first base a couple of times. They've attempted to steal third a couple of times. Gentry, he was able to tag up on a fly ball to right field and get to second. Very aggressive ball club.
Inside, and Andrus gets a walk. Don't forget to join us tomorrow. Game 5. The Red Wings travel to Nashville to take on the Predators on Fox Sports Detroit. Coverage starts at 7:30 with Red Wings Live, followed by the game at 8 p.m. It's Game 5 tomorrow for more Red Wings playoff hockey on Fox Sports Detroit.
And one thing about this Texas Rangers offense and their base running, it really doesn't matter who's in the batter's box. Guys are still taking off. I mean, there's some teams with a Hamilton in the batter's box. You wouldn't want to open up first base, but Ron Washington doesn't care about that because their lineup is so deep.
Hamilton is in there right now. Yeah, behind him they've got Beltre. Behind him they've got Young. Then it's Cruz. So if they want to walk a batter with the base open, there's still a tough hitter to face. One 1-0 on Hamilton. Because of that broken arm we talked about a little while ago, he played in just 121 games last year. They've got a couple of guys that have really battled the injuries. Hamilton and Cruz. We've talked about his hamstring problem. Now the 1-0 runner goes. Here comes Avila's throw. It is not in time.
They are not afraid. Avila did all he could do to get a good throw off to second base, but Andrews with a good running start about 6 steps before the ball got in Avila's glove. No shot at throwing him out.
37 steals last year. That is his first of 2012. And it sets up yet another chance for this Texas offense to drive in a run.
And you can't forget about Andrews standing on second base. He'll take off for third regardless of if there being a left-handed batter in the batter's box.
6 out of 8 last year. Steals at third. Also stole home a couple of times. Three and 1 on Josh Hamilton. We're in the 6th inning. 4-1 Texas in game 1 in this 4-game series. And he lost him. Back-to-back walks. Hamilton on base for the 3rd time tonight. Looks like Jeff Jones getting on the phone now, getting some stirring in the Tigers bullpen. Adrian Beltre, the batter. He's 0 for 3. Breaking ball spins him out of the box, but it missed. 1-0. Apparently Curtis Granderson's had himself a night.
What has he done?
3 home runs in his first 3 at bats.
Really?
Well, a home run in each of his first 3 at bats, to be more accurate, as Velo warms up.
He hit 40 last year, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he put together quite a year last year.
He's a nice player and a better human being.
41 to be exact. There's a strike called 1-1. Yankees leading Minnesota 7-6. That game in the 6th inning.
Curtis got some MVP votes last year.
2 on here for the Rangers in the 6th and 1 out.
Just a matter of time before Elvis at second base takes off for third.
And Ballister bluffs him back.
As a pitcher, that has to drive you nuts. You have those rabbits on the base paths. You're trying to deal with Adrian Beltre, who's a good hitter. You can't make a mistake to him.
Ground ball left side. Peralta. Quick throw to second. Late. And the bases are loaded.
That was the only play that Peralta had, was to go to second base. He wouldn't have gotten Beltre at first base. And the reason why he didn't get Hamilton is because Hamilton had a big lead because Prince wasn't holding him on. Nor was he asked to hold him on.
Infield hit for Beltre. That's 11 hits for the Rangers. Jeff Jones makes a visit out to the mound with Velo warming up.
Take a look at where Hamilton is on the right of your screen. No way for Peralta to get him at second. He was on his way up when Santiago got the ball in his glove.
Tigers by and large have gotten the ground balls tonight, but they have found a lot of holes. That one was hit deep to the hole at short. Now it's going to set up Michael Young. 10 of the 11 hits tonight for Texas are singles. Chipping away, and they lead 4-1. Young only hits .351 with the bases loaded.
That's all.
That's it. Ground ball left side again in the hole. Peralta fires to second one. Relay. And not in time. Whoa, was that close?
What a turn by Santiago. He paid for it too. Great feed by Johnny. It was firm. And look at Santiago staying there and take the brunt of that blow from Beltre. And boy, it doesn't get any closer than that at first base.
No, it doesn't. Five-1 ball game. Young gets an RBI, his second of the night. So here is Nelson Cruz with runners at first and third. 3 of the 5 runs for Texas coming in the last 2 innings. Way outside, and Avila saved a run there. Ballister came on in the 5th inning after the leadoff walk issued by Wilk. High fly ball, right field. Should end the inning. Bosch is there, and that is that. They get another run. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. 5-1. As we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. A lot of base runners tonight for Texas. Tigers have committed a couple of errors. 10 men left on base for the Rangers. Through 6 innings. Here is Cabrera. He'll be followed by Fielder and then Young. Darvish had a 1-2-3 5th inning. It was his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Yu has walked 3. He has struck out 3. There's a strike right at the knees. 92 miles an hour. 1-1. Gone as high as 95 and as low as 72. Foul back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Darvish going tonight. Tomorrow the Tigers see another lefty, Matt Harrison. They saw nothing but left-handers in Kansas City. They saw Chris Sale, the lefty, in Chicago.
Yeah, they ought to be ready to go then.
And the 1-2. Pulled foul. Speaking of tomorrow, here is the matchup presented by Gordon Chevrolet. Matt Harrison at 2-0 with some microscopic numbers. Rick Porcello has done good work as well.
Yeah, he has. Porcello has been very good in his first 2 starts of the year. Gerald Laird has caught both of those starts and handled Porcello in a masterful way.
He tried to hold up, didn't go.
Cabby
it's so funny
takes a check swing, and then he asks the first base umpire for an appeal himself.
It's almost become habit now for Cabrera. Don't forget, tomorrow night we're on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Here's the 2-2. Outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes on Cabrera. Miguel tonight is 0 for 2, ground out, fly out. Looked like he was breaking out of the slump with a couple of hits the last 2 games in Kansas City. And the 3-2. High, towering fly ball, right field, hit well. Cruz going back, track, wall to make the catch. Napoli's carried out earlier in the game. Cabrera's just died on the warning track. 1 out.
It's a fastball that's in that Cabrera doesn't get quite on the barrel of the bat. Cruz does a nice job of finding the wall and then finding the baseball and coming back and getting it.
Now Prince Fielder, strike 1. Darvish has given up just 2 hits in this game tonight. Kelly a single. And a double for Delman Young.
Against a really good offensive ball club.
That's grounded foul.
First couple of teams that Darvish has seen this year, the Seattle Mariners and the Minnesota Twins. No disrespect to either club, but they don't boast the kind of offense that the Tigers have.
Fielder fouls it off, stays alive. 0-2. The count remains on Prince.
That curveball that Darvish is featuring tonight is filthy. Just tumbles right off the table. When you see the catcher put down 5.
He's got an arsenal. He might have to go to 2 hands pretty soon.
When the catcher puts down 5, you know there's an assortment of pitches.
I can't remember seeing that before.
But this is before the last pitch.
Swing and a miss.
Darvish is feeling it tonight.
That he is.
Real cool, calm, and collected is Mr. Darvish tonight. And Torrialba has been a really nice leader behind the plate.
4 strikeouts for Darvish. 3 of the 4 coming on off-speed pitches. And breaking ball. Got Prince Fielder. Delvin Young got him for a double back in the 4th, which helped set up the Tigers' only run so far.
Looked like they were in business. They had runners on 2nd and 3rd with nobody out. That was their chance to put some pressure on Darvish.
But Darvish came right back and struck out Avila. He got the ground ball from Kelly, which scored the run, and that turned out to be it. That one floats outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
71.
Total of 96 pitches tonight for you, Darvish. It's pretty much been his MO his first couple of starts, getting to the 100 plateau in or about the 6th inning. Two on the count on Delman. That one bends inside. 3-1. Darvish so far has had just 1 1-2-3 inning. That was last inning of the 5th, and he needed a really good play from Adrian Beltre. And he lost it. 2-out walk. Delman reaching for the 2nd time. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. There's Alex Avila. Strike 1 on Avila. Alex 0 for 2 in this game. Darvish had retired 8 consecutive hitters prior to that walk. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2 now on Avila, and he didn't like it. Little silent protest there from Mike Estabrook, tonight's home plate umpire. Torrealba snatched it back up above the knees. That'll get away from Torrealba. And Delman going to 2nd. He can't find it. Now he's going to try to go to 3rd. Here's the throw, and he's out. Delman Young tried to aggressively get to 3rd base, and Torrealba found it and threw him out at 3rd.
Initially in, Dillman takes off for second, and then he thinks he can get to third because Torrealba didn't locate it, and he throws the ball down to Beltre, and Beltre able to tag Dillman out for the third out of the inning.
So the Tigers still down 5-1. And for the Rangers, Mike Napoli will lead it off as we go to the 7th inning tonight here at the ballpark. First pitch inside from Colin Ballister. Came on in the 5th, pitched the 6th, and now here in the 7th, he's thrown 44 pitches out of the bullpen. Napoli's had a nice night, 2 for 3. He's homered, and he rolls that one foul.
If you're the Rangers, you kind of feel pretty good about what you've been able to accomplish here tonight against Tigers pitching. Able to get into that bullpen in the 4th inning in a 4-game series.
And so Ballister coming out for his 3rd frame. There's a strike called.
Yeah, but the Tigers have a couple of guys going the next couple of days that can get that bullpen right back in order. The first one will be Porcello, and then Verlander on Saturday.
Daniel Schlereth in the Detroit bullpen. Here's the 1-2.
Napoli was hot in Boston, and he continued his hot streak here in his first at-bat against Adam Wilk. Big fly to right field his first time up tonight.
Did he go? Nope. Avila tagged him just in case they were going to say he went around. 2-2 on Mike Napoli. Fouled away. Napoli, Torrealba, and Gentry 7, 8, 9 in the Texas lineup. Mike Napoli spent 5 years in the big leagues with the Angels. He'll get back out of play.
He was a nice performer for the Angels, but not nearly as good as he's performed in the first year that he performed last year in a Rangers uniform, and now so far off to a good start this year.
He was pretty much in that platoon situation with Jeff Mathis. Mathis more of a defensive catcher. Napoli could always swing it. Let's roll toward third base, and Cabrera will throw him out. I guess, though, if you're going to play for Mike Scioscia, you've got to be able to do it defensively.
Yes.
And so Napoli took his skills to Texas, and he has really lit it up offensively. Had a great postseason last year, off to a nice start this year. Here's Torrealba. Sac fly back in the 5th inning, drove in a run. Strike 1 on Torrealba. 11 hits tonight for the Rangers, but they have also stranded 10 men on base, which has kept this game manageable. The Tigers still only trail by 4 runs. They just have not been able to do much against Darvish.
The game that Darvish so far has pitched will be a huge confidence booster for him. Trying to stay loose.
Darvish is at 102 pitches right now. 110 was his previous high in his first start. That's line to left, a base hit.
Hey fans, you don't want to miss this Saturday when the Tigers face the Texas Rangers at 105. Pre-game on-field clinic. Learn baseball fundamentals from Tigers players and coaches. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com. It's always a special afternoon when the kids get on the field and learn from some of the best in the business.
Here's Craig Gentry, the number 9 hitter. A couple of singles tonight for Gentry. And Ballister is in with strike 1. One of his base hits was a bunt single back in the 4th. Cabrera crowding him a bit at third base. And it's in there, a strike. Now 0-2. Here's the 0-2. High fly ball left field, chasing Kelly back. He's under it. Runner tagging but holding. Torrealba goes back to first base. 2 gone, back up to the top of the lineup now, Ian Kinsler. This will be his 5th at bat tonight. Kinsler popped up in his last at bat. He had a couple of hits in his first 2 at bats. And Ian now leading the major leagues with 14 runs scored.
Ian Kinsler started his collegiate career at Arizona State University out west and was slated to play shortstop there, but Pat Murphy, who was the coach there, brought in a kid by the name of Dustin Pedroia, and Kinsler had to transfer to the University of Missouri to play shortstop.
That Pedroia guy's pretty good.
He is pretty good.
Won an MVP. Born in Tucson, Arizona, Ian Kinsler.
And now Pedroia and Kinsler, 2 of the best second baseman in all of baseball.
And he hit him. So Ballister comes a little bit too far inside. And Jim Leyland coming out. He's going to go to the bullpen.
Must have got his shirt.
I think it did. Wrinkled his shirt. That's a hit by the pitch. So Ballister goes as far as he can here in this one. Tigers go back to the bullpen and we'll be back. 7th inning. The AT&T trivia question again tonight. Other than Texas, what 4 teams have won consecutive American League pennants since 1969? And those 4 teams would be Baltimore, New York, the Oakland Athletics, and the Toronto Blue Jays. Tigers have gone to the bullpen again. Daniel Schlereth is on now.
Daniel hasn't been getting a lot of work lately. So it's a good opportunity for him to get out there and get some work and refine his pitches, which would be the fastball and the curveball. Jeff Jones just a couple of days ago was talking about the fact that not many of the relief pitchers have gotten much work because a lot of the starters have been going very deep in games.
Andrews walked, stole a base, scored in the 6th inning. Two balls, no strikes. Benoit and Valverde were able to team up a couple of times in Kansas City. They got some work. That's always good news when they pitch because, you know, you're probably leading.
That's right.
And eventually winning. Here's the 2-0. 2-1 on Elvis Andrews. And the 2-1. Way inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. (12-2). The Tigers have been out hit tonight. Rangers threatening for more here with 2 outs in the 7th. Torrealba and Kinsler, the base runners. And the 3-1. He walked him, and that's going to load the bases.
Hey fans, join us again tomorrow for more baseball when the Tigers host the ALCS champion Texas Rangers. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Tigers Live on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Again, that's Tigers baseball tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. And they are looking like the reigning American League champions. They're looking really good.
Well, here is Hamilton now with the bases loaded. And he takes strike 1. And for all the base runners the Rangers have had tonight, I mean, it has the feel of a game that's like an 8 or 9 or 10 run game, but it's still only 5-1.
They have already stranded 10 runners, which is the reason why the score is only 5-1.
Now Avila walks out to the mound.
And Daniel would like to strand the 3 that are out there.
No balls, 1 strike on Josh Hamilton. He's walked his last 2 at bats. He also has a single. Fouled off. That went off the mask of Avila, and the count is 0-2. Bases are loaded. Andrews, Kinsler, and Torrealba. Here's the 0-2. Inside Hamilton, 1 ball, 2 strikes. That sails inside. Run it to 2-2 on Hamilton. Schlereth trying to keep the score manageable here. Hamilton trying to bust it open. And the 2-2 inside. So he's gone from 0-2 to 3-2, which means the runners will be on the move here. And here it is. On one hop to second base. What a play by Santiago. A rocket hit off the bat at Hamilton. And they'll strand 3 more. 13 men left on base tonight for Texas, but this play by Santi was fun to watch.
Last night did a very nice job in the 7th inning, and by and large they have been a pretty good team 7th inning or later, and they're going to need some of that here tonight against Darvish, who has been stellar.
Tigers hitting .347 from the 7th inning on this season. So again, they will try and finally get to Darvish here, down by a 5-1 score. They got it going in KC last night in the 7th. See if they can do it here tonight. Alex Avila leads it off, takes ball 1 from Darvish, who has 102 pitches through 6 innings. And again, his high water mark was 110 in his first start.
He has gone as low as 71 with a really slow curveball, all the way up to 95 with his 4-seam fastball.
Here's the 1-0.
That might have been a splitter right there at 85 miles an hour. He's not thrown many of those tonight. That may have been the first one of the night, at least the first one that I've noticed.
Checked it. 2-1 the count. Tigers' only run coming in the 4th inning. Leadoff walk to Prince Fielder, doubled by Young, and 1 out later a ground ball scored Fielder, and that has been it. Only 2 hits surrendered by Darvish. Good pitch. 92 miles an hour on the outer edge. Again, some silent protest there from Avila.
Well, Alex feels like there's just been too much given to Darvish at the bottom of the strike zone when he's been up there, and Torrealba continues to pick it up, and Mr. Estabrook continues to call him strikes.
And the 2-2. 3-2 on Avila. Kelly, then Peralta here in the Tigers' 7th inning. Darvish has 3 walks to go with his 4 strikeouts. Would you say that tonight's game has been crawling along at a snail's pace?
Yeah, I would say that.
Really one of the few this year that has kind of meandered through the night. And there's a walk. But Darvish issues his 4th walk. Leadoff man on. Mike Maddox, the fine pitching coach for Texas.
They almost lost him. Didn't he interview for a couple of managerial positions in the offseason?
He did. Robbie Ross, meanwhile, warming up.
Greg Maddux also works for the Texas Rangers now.
Ball 1 to Don Kelly. And now Torrealba walks out to the mound. Kelly 1 for 2, single. He knocked in a run with a ground out. Way outside, and all of a sudden Darvish has lost his way here. 2-0. Who knows? Perhaps the 13 men left on base tonight will come back to haunt the Rangers. And Mike Maddox again on the phone. Is my guy ready down there? Kelly takes off the plate. 3-0. The lefty Ross still warming up. That's 110 pitches now, which equals the season high for Darvish. Here comes number 111. And it's in for a strike. 3-1.
Ron Washington not afraid to bring Ross in to face right-handers. He said that he's one guy that can pitch multiple innings out of his bullpen, and he can get righties out as well as left-handers.
3-1 pitch. Checked it, strike call. 3-2.
Darvish still has a lot in his tank. I mean, Japanese pitchers to throw 135, 140 pitches is nothing, because they typically have 5 days of rest in between each start.
There's a ground ball to second on one hop. Kinsler bobbles, and his throw is not in time. They get nothing out of it. A sharp one hopper.
It's a sure double play ball that kind of jumped up and bit Kinsler, and he couldn't gather himself to pick it up to get at least one out.
So the door is opening for the Tigers here in the 7th.
It's only the 6th error of the season that the Texas Rangers have committed, so they can catch it too.
Mike Maddox, a quick word with Yu Darvish, and now here is Peralta. Nobody out, 2 men on. Tigers down 4. Well, the Rangers were able to take advantage of a couple of Tigers errors in the 5th inning. Way outside to Peralta.
More than likely, this is the last hitter of the evening for you, Darvish, regardless of what Peralta does.
115 pitches. Spins up a breaking ball. It's in for a strike. You can tell some of these Tigers hitters not really fond right now of the strike zone.
Well, it's a big strike zone.
Peralta stepped out. A little bit of a protest. 1 ball, 1 strike. Off the mask of Torrealba. 1-2.
That hurt on a cold night like tonight.
Directly onto the mask of Torrealba, ringing his bell a bit. 1-2. Missed it away. Torrealba holds it there. That clearly was outside at 94 miles an hour.
Darvish throwing as hard here in the 7th inning as he was in the beginning of the game. He's been able to maintain that 95-mile-per-hour fastball throughout.
Fought that one off. In on his hands. Peralta sends it back to the screen. Johnny tonight, a ground ball and a fly ball. There's more action now in the bullpen for Texas.
Ogando
To join Ross.
Alexi Ogando.
Here's the 2-2. Off the plate. 3-2. Really starting to get interesting now. Crowd coming alive here. 3-2. Swing and a miss, and Peralta goes down, and a huge strikeout for Darvish. It's 5 of them on the night.
It's a well-located breaking ball and not his best of the night, but 3-2 count. Peralta looking for a fastball. Expanded the strike zone, and he's done now, Mr. Darvish.
So Darvish will turn the baseball over. And as the Rangers make a pitching change, we'll be back in the 7th.
starter for the Texas Rangers, but they moved him to the bullpen late in the year, and in the postseason he was lights out. The Tigers couldn't do anything with Ogando, and it was Felice at the back end of the game in the postseason that pretty much sealed the Tigers' fate. Those two guys, when they showed up, it was pretty much game over.
It was indeed, and now Ogando is already making his 8th appearance of the year.
He's usually, and he is tonight, the 7th inning guy for Ron Washington. Mike Adams usually pitches the 8th, and the former Minnesota Twin Joe Nathan is the 9th inning guy. But with Ogando, he's versatile. He's been a starter. He's been an 8th inning guy, now a 7th inning guy. Ron Washington can do just about anything that he wants to do with him, and Ogando can also pitch multiple innings.
So we'll see one of the big weapons out of their bullpen coming on now with 2 men on and 1 out. Santiago, the hitter.
Power arm, 97 with the fastball. Good slider.
1 strike on Santiago. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Tigers got a couple of runners, a walk and an error. And Santiago takes high. 96 with that fastball. Darvish turning things over to the bullpen. 6 1/3 tonight, but the 2 runners aboard are still his responsibility. The 1-1 popped up left side of the infield. Andrews.
Well, if you're Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, really your only concern regarding the night that Darvish had is you'd like to see him throw less pitches. 121 pitches in 6 1/3 is way too many.
Austin Jackson will be the hitter. Darvish did a fine job at the top of the Tigers lineup. The top 4 hitters in the Tigers lineup tonight, 0 for 10. They did have a couple of walks. Ogando missing outside.
Tigers got to get their bats going anyway. I mean, they've had some clutch hits, and they had some clutch hits in that sweep of the Kansas City Royals, but by and large, they really haven't clicked on all cylinders as a whole. They will, though.
You're seeing signs of it. I mean, Jackson will have a good game or 2, and then Cabrera early on in the season was hot. So was Fielder.
Peralta has had a nice game or 2. Avila, but not collectively.
Down 5-1 here in the 7th inning. Ogando facing Austin Jackson, who's 0 for 3. And a strike called, and Jackson, you could tell, did not care for that call.
Ogando just sort of did some of his best work against us last year. You get a look at what the Tigers are tonight with runners in scoring position. Not many chances.
Ogando, a Rule 5 draft selection.
What a draft choice that was.
It has paid big time dividends. Swing and a miss. So just like that, the rally fizzles. A strikeout of Jackson ends the inning. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Brought to you by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. And by Toyota. Brought to you by your Greater Detroit Toyota dealers. Back here in the Motor City, downtown Detroit. Back home are the Tigers after a successful road trip. It's gotten chilly here at the ballpark tonight. It's 5-1. Tigers bats have been chilly as well.
I need me one of those to cover up my ears. It is a little chilly tonight.
If you wear it, I'll go buy it. There's no guarantee that you'll wear it. Here's our Comerica game summary as we scope out what has happened tonight. Plenty has happened. The Tigers, as we mentioned, just haven't been able to get the bats going. 6-game Ranger road trip. They've gotten their bats going. Look at these numbers.
Wow.
Texas tonight has left 13 and a couple of Tigers errors, despite the fact that they were really good prior to tonight's game defensively.
Texas Rangers have gone to the World Series the last couple of years only to lose in the World Series, and boy, they're off to one of their best starts in the history of their franchise this season.
They are that. Not only are they getting the great offense, but the great pitching as well. Daniel Schlereth back to work as we head to the 8th inning. First pitch is skied in the air. Shallow center field. Jackson coming on. And 1 pitch and 1 out. Beltre retired. Schlereth came on in the 7th inning, walked Andrews, but got Hamilton on a sharp ground ball that Santiago turned a nice play on. Here is Michael Young. In there for a strike. 0-1 on Young. Two RBIs tonight for the veteran Young. Singled one in back in the first. And he shoots this one to right field, drops it in there for a base hit.
He's made a living doing that. We were talking about Michael Young earlier in the game. One of the best at getting a base hit to right field. Very nicely done.
Last year, Young tied for the league lead with 213 hits. He's been over the 200 mark several times, in fact 6 times in his career. Here is Nelson Cruz. Ball 1 outside to Cruz. Nelson, 31 years old now, didn't get to the big leagues until 2005, briefly with Milwaukee. Started in professional baseball in '98. Outside, 2-0.
Took him a while to get to the show, but once he got to the big leagues and got an opportunity to play, he's really showed his skills. Good power, good arm in the outfield.
Over 2,700 minor league at bats.
That's a lot.
Here's 2-0. There's another base hit. Young is going to motor toward third base. This is going to go to the wall. It's going to get another run in. Michael Young will come around to score. It's a double for Nelson Cruz, and now 6-1 Texas. Now the Bernstein advantage brings you the scouting report on Nelson Cruz. Get the Bernstein advantage. We go to bat for you, and we all know what he did in the ALCS last year.
This ball right here was absolutely scorched into the right center field gap.
Napoli is not going to hit. With first base open, they'll put him on. So 14 hits for the Rangers tonight, but only 2 of them have been for extra bases, including the Napoli home run.
Which is a stark contrast of what they did in Boston.
Yeah.
Before they got here, they were hitting balls into the seats in Boston. A lot of home runs.
For the Rangers, their 10-2 start matches the '89 club for the best record in team history after 12 games, and they're trying to win another one tonight, leading at 6-1. Two men on. Cruz and Napoli, and here is your Torrealba. We want the appeal on the check swing. Mike Everett says nope. Torrealba, sac fly, driving in a run. 1 for 3 tonight for the Rangers, who have put up 14 hits but have left 13 on base. That's a ground ball, fair ball, inside the bag at first. Cruz will come around and score standing up. Napoli gets to third base. That's a double and an RBI for Torrealba.
They got off to a very hot start last year, did the Rangers, after 12 games. 9-3. 10-2 so far this year.
And they lead this one 7-1. There's Craig Gentry, infield coming in for the Tigers. 2 runs here in the 8th. Still only 1 out. Tap foul by Gentry. 2 singles tonight for their number 9 hitter.
Well, when you play a 162 game schedule, there's going to be a game or 2 that just doesn't go your way. This one will fall into that category so far.
Here's the 0-1. 0-2 on Gentry. Wayne Belo is up again. He was warming up earlier in the bullpen tonight for the Tigers. Tigers now been out hit tonight 15-2. Swing and a miss. That'll sit Gentry back down. First strikeout tonight for Schlereth.
Well located breaking ball there by Daniel on the outside part of the plate. Might want to throw that same pitch to Kinsler. He loves and he feasts on first pitch fastballs. So if you decide to throw him one, you better locate it.
Kinsler hit by a pitch back in the 7th. A couple of hits early in the game. And he shoots this one toward right field, slicing away. That's going to drop in. It's going to go to the wall and score 2 more runs. Kinsler has his 3rd hit as he cruises into second base, and the Rangers just won't quit tonight.
Well, he decided to throw him a first pitch fastball, and he didn't locate it. The ball was up in the strike zone, and this is exactly how Kinsler makes his money. It's actually a ball top of the strike zone somehow. And he's able to get on top of it and hit it to right field.
(9-1) Texas. 9 RBIs now for Kinsler. Elvis Andrus.
This one's kind of gotten out of hand the last couple of innings.
Yeah, it has. 5 of their 9 runs scoring in the last 3 innings, and so it's kind of fallen into the clunker category. 16 hits for the Rangers. They've had 3 doubles this inning. Andrus takes a strike. 1-1. Porcello and Matt Harrison tomorrow. Day baseball Saturday and Sunday here at the Yard. That's back up the middle into center field.
These guys are not giving away any of their at-bats.
And so Andrews gets an RBI. Kinsler scores. 10-1. Here comes Leland. 10 runs, 17 hits for this vaunted Texas offense. It's going to be it for Schlereth. He will give up the baseball. Tigers go to the pen. We step aside. One ball game, 17 big hits for the Texas Rangers, and Daniel Schlereth unable to get through the 8th, so he will give way to Dwayne Below, who comes out of the Detroit bullpen.
Yeah, Below just trying to slow down this Texas Rangers. Well, actually not slow them down, but stop them. He has not been scored upon this year in a couple of appearances.
They bat around as Josh Hamilton steps in. And he takes strike one from Below. A 5-run 8th inning. It's an inning that has included 3 doubles. Here's the 0-1.
As I was saying earlier, the Texas Rangers are one of those teams in the major leagues, well, really all teams, that if you've got a 4-game series against them, boy, you don't want to deplete the bullpen going into game 2.
Yeah, good point. And Wilk had to come out of the game in the 5th inning tonight. And Ballister gave the Tigers a couple of frames. 1-2. Hamilton rolls it foul. On a night where the Rangers have 10 runs on 17 hits, Hamilton has 1 single, although he's walked a couple of times. Texas came in with a team average of 293, leading the league in runs scored, and they've done nothing to hurt those numbers tonight. 1-2. Two on Hamilton. Fouled away. Tigers in the bottom of the 8th will have Bosch, Cabrera, and Fielder. know it's a long night when the West Coast games are starting and you're still going. They're underway in Anaheim. High fly ball. And Jackson is cruising under it. 9 men to the plate. 5-run frame. Back here in the ballpark as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's been all Texas tonight in game 1 of this 4-game series featuring the top 2 records in the American League, Tigers and Rangers, and the Tigers have been out hit 17-2. And Texas will go back into their bullpen as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. 22-year-old Robbie Ross out of Lexington, Kentucky will take over.
And Ron Washington was telling me before the game today is Ross is one of those guys that usually will pitch in the 6th inning. He can get left-handers out, get right-handers out, pitch multiple innings. They've got a strong bullpen. We just saw Alexi Ogando stop that rally the Tigers were had in the 7th.
Rangers bullpen on this current trip that they have has given up just 1 earned run in 13 innings.
Starters haven't given up many either.
Bosch leading it off, then Cabrera in fielder. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Here are the updated numbers on this road trip for Texas. 3 holds, 2 of 2 in save opportunities. Only 1 walk and 13 strikeouts. Fouled back.
Texas no doubt deserves its props in the first couple of weeks of this year, but make no mistake about it, they will not play like this all year.
And Ron Washington's team, out of the chute at least, has done it better than anybody in the American League. Driven high in the air, deep into center field. Gentry has a lot of room out there, and center field swallows that one up. One gone. Robbie Ross is thinking, I'm kind of liking the center field here in Detroit.
That might have been a homer at his yard in Texas.
I think you're right. Here's Cabrera. 0 for 3. A couple of fly balls for Cabrera tonight. Along with a ground out. Right back up the middle into center. That's a base hit.
And Ross is lucky that he falls off toward the first base side of that rubber, because had he been on the rubber, he got smoked by that line drive.
It's the first hit tonight for the top four in the Tigers lineup. Here's Prince Fielder.
Prince has done some of his best work this year after Cabrera has reached on a base hit.
One and one. Fielder tonight for the Tigers, a walk, and to this point their only run scored. One and two. Ross comes from a baseball family. His father Chuck was a second-round pick of the Brewers back in 1975. Played 5 years in the Brewers farm system. Here's the 1-2. Drill to center field. That's a base hit.
Batting average has gone up just a tick from that 727 after a Cabrera base hit.
Tigers hitting the ball hard here against Ross.
Yeah, they are.
Even the Bosch fly ball was hit deep to center field. There's Delman Young. Double and a walk for Delman, and he looks at strike one.
Being told that is now the 9th time that Cabrera and Fielder have had back-to-back hits. One of those two big flies, weren't they?
Yes, correct. And I'm sure we'll see more of that as the year goes on. That scattered foul back out of play.
No question this offense will get a whole lot better. Flashback.
You called for the big fly.
Yeah, I did. They got Josh Beckett.
Delman swings and misses. Second out of the inning. And the first strikeout for Ross. That'll bring up Alex Avila. Avila tonight with a walk, strikeout, and a ground out. Tigers have two men on here in the eighth. Alex looks at a ball outside. Verlander will be pitching here for the Tigers in the Saturday game against Napoli Feliz. That's going to be quite a matchup.
Feliz has gone from being their closer the last couple of years to pitching that starting rotation.
What a closer he was. He did a really good job in that role.
Verlander had 131 pitches in his last start in Kansas City. He threw 99 miles an hour in the first inning. In the last pitch of the game, the 131st pitch that he threw was 100 miles an hour. Some kind of special. got that scowl already, two days out.
Huh? He's tuning it up. There's a walk to Avila. That's going to load him up. And it'll bring up Don Kelly. Jim Leyland was asked before the game today if there's anything that worries him about this club, and he didn't want to use the word worry, but he wants to get Fisker back, and that certainly is a big part of the rotation as Kelly takes ball one.
Fisker took a little step back yesterday, didn't he? He had to stop his bullpen session. Those ribs and sides, and what muscle is that again?
The intercostal muscle.
Yeah, that one. Those are tough.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, they are tough because they're kind of nagging injuries, and hopefully Fisker will be able to resume throwing again soon. But you're talking about taking your number 2 starter out of your rotation.
It's a long season, though. They need to make sure that when he does come back, he's 100% healthy.
Wave and a miss. Tigers getting a lift from Drew Smiley, who's done good work. 1-2. They're loaded up with Tigers. 10-1 score here as we play in the 8th. And the 1-2. There's a base hit left field. Don Kelly goes the other way. This will get 2 runs in as Cabrera and Fielder score. Kelly has 3 RBIs tonight. All 3 of the runs driven in.
Kelly just kind of beat the shift. Ross left a pitch up in the strike zone. It was a hanging breaking ball, and Elvis Andrews was shaded Kelly up the middle, and he was able to hit it right past him.
That makes it 10-3. And it looks like they're going back to the bullpen. So as they do, we will step aside with the Tigers now down 10-3.
His stuff was tremendous. Great fastball, very good breaking ball, cutters, sliders, you name it. Darvish had it.
6 1/3 tonight for Darvish. Only 2 hits. He did walk 5 to go with his 5 strikeouts. In the 121 pitches he threw tonight. So Scott Feldman coming out of the bullpen now for Texas, replacing Ross.
Scott Feldman was 1-2 in spring training this year with a 1.3 earned run average. 23 hits, 23 innings pitched. Didn't walk many though.
Johnny Peralta stands in with 2 men on. 2-run single by Don Kelly has made it a 10-3 game. And the first pitch is in for a strike. Feldman, you might remember last year in the ALCS, really handcuffed the Tigers. He scored, or he went 5 2/3 scoreless innings against Detroit. Johnny tonight is 0 for 3, and he'll step out. Here's the 0-1. Oops. Torrealba going out. That one must have fooled him a little bit.
Torrealba did a nice job just to catch this ball. He was crossed up.
One ball, one strike. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball there. 1-2.
Johnny getting a steady diet breaking balls here tonight. Darvish threw him quite a few. And apparently that is the game plan that Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, may have drawn up for his pitchers for this 4-game series against Johnny. Something for Johnny to think about.
Just off the plate. A couple of the Ranger infielders were 2 or 3 steps back to the dugout.
Didn't Mike Maddox turn down an interview with the Boston Red Sox?
I believe he did.
Turned it down.
Yep.
And interviewed with Chicago Cubs.
Very well respected.
Good pitching coach. The older brother of Greg Maddox. Won't be long before Greg gets that plaque in Cooperstown.
To be sure. And the 2-2. That'll get back out of play. Of course, pitching has become much more of an emphasis and a focus. The new CEO and president, Nolan Ryan, he was kind of good in his playing days.
I heard of him.
Yeah.
John Daniels, their general manager, has done marvelous work at assembling the big league club and also hiring some people to work underneath him that find really good players.
Greg Maddox, a special assistant to the general manager.
Those are really good jobs if you can get one.
They are pretty good gigs, aren't they? Again, the 2-2. And Peralta takes way outside. 3-2 the count. Santiago is on deck. Three-two pitch for the runners going, and a ground ball toward third. Beltre backs up on the hop, slings one over there, and Peralta is down. So are the Tigers. They get a couple of runs though. We will go to the ninth.
Miller Time brought to you by Miller Lite. Mike Napoli hit 3 home runs in the sweep of the Boston Red Sox before the Texas Rangers came to Detroit, and his first time up tonight. Played long ball to right field against the Tigers starter Adam Wilk, and the Texas Rangers really haven't looked back.
They have not. They have put up 17 hits in this one tonight. They lead 10-3. The Tigers have but 5 hits. And Dwayne Below going back to work here in the 9th inning. Beltre will lead it off, then Young, and then Cruz. Again tomorrow night, it's going to be Rick Porcello and Matt Harrison. Here's Beltre, 1 for 5. It's one of those ball games in which a few of these guys will get 6 at bats in this game. Beltre has scored a run, and he takes the first pitch in for a strike from Dwayne Below. Dwayne came on to get the final out of the 8th. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big swing there by Beltre. 1-2. Dwayne Below out of Britain, Michigan, made his big league debut last year, his first major league start here at the ballpark. Just about the whole town of Britain showed up. That is pulled foul. Dwayne last year appeared in 14 games, did a lot of his good work out of the bullpen. Way outside. Dwayne made a couple of starts and then was used out of the bullpen. In fact, he retired the first 23 batters he faced as a reliever.
Throws strikes. Throws a lot of strikes.
Here's the 2-2. That one just missed. 3-2.
Speaking of throwing strikes, did you see what Bartolo Colon did last night against the Angels?
What do you have, 38 straight?
He threw 38 straight strikes.
3-2 pitch. Seems impossible, doesn't it?
38 strikes in a row.
I wonder how many of those were actually balls that were put in play or that were
There was a
swung
few,
at.
but not many.
Yeah. That's a lot.
I think he went from like the 5th inning all the way up until the 8th inning throwing nothing but strikes.
Again, the 3-2 pitch. And again, it's fouled off. And maybe the amazing thing is that Bartolo Colon is still going strong.
Kind of reinvented himself. Shut out the Los Angeles Angels 6-0.
3-2 pitch. Beltre not going down without a battle. Rangers have 17 hits and they have left 14 men on base. There have been gray uniforms on the bases all night long. Swinging a high drive left field. Kelly going back. He'll go to the warning track halfway onto the track to make the catch. Beltre just missed it.
Beltre has to get back in that weight room.
You go tell him that. 1 out. Here's Michael Young. Two out of 4 tonight for Young. Couple of RBIs. His average up to 388. Ball 1. Tigers in the bottom of the 9th. They have Santiago, Jackson, and Bosch. Now Right now a 7-run deficit. 2-0. Rangers team coming out of the gates playing with a whole lot of confidence after losing in the World Series for the 2nd straight year. Last year the Cardinals came back to beat them. A heartbreaking loss for Texas.
They may be better this year than they were last year.
It might be. 2-1.
When you add a Darvish to the starting rotation, Napoli Feliz has gone from their closer to the starting rotation. Joe Nathan is healthy again after having Tommy John surgery a couple of days ago and can close some games out for you. And the experience that guys like Andrews and some of the other young players have gotten the last 2 years.
Strike call. Well, they may be better than they were last year, but that certainly does not guarantee that they're getting back to the World Series. There's so many other variables. Luck being one, injuries. Here's the 2-2 outside. Not to mention other teams have gotten better as well, including the Tigers.
Yeah, they're going to have to play the Angels quite a few times as well, and the Angels will play better baseball under Mike Scioscia before it's all said and done. Yeah, they're not performing well now, but they will get better.
Ground ball. Diving stop. Santiago flings it over there, pulled him off the bag. Ramon just couldn't get his footing. One out base.
Ramon allowed the ball to go through his legs earlier in the game, and since that point, everything that's been hit to him, he's been picking it.
18 hits for Texas. Young has his 3rd hit tonight. Here's Cruz. Doubled in a run back in the 8th. And he shoots one back up the middle into center field. The hits just keep on coming for Texas.
Boy, oh boy.
It's 19 hits now. And you made a comment last half inning. They just don't seem to give up at bats, which can be easy to do when you have a lopsided game.
They're not. They are taking advantage of every one of the mistakes that they have gotten today. Balls that are over the heart of the plate. They've gotten some really good swings at them.
10 runs, 19 hits. Here's Napoli. He'll bat again. Home run earlier in the game, his 5th of the year. Hit it to the opposite field. That's it for a strike. 0-1. Wilk started this one for Detroit, gave way to Ballister, and then Schlereth and Below. Avila blocks it. 1-1.
Been a long day back there for Alex.
You know, the temperature at the start of this game was in the 60s. It's now down to 48. So it's gotten cooler as the night has gone on. There's a strike call. Top 5 in the Rangers order, 10 for 24 tonight. They've gotten it done really throughout the lineup. But their heavy hitters have come through this evening. Here's the 1-2. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Santiago scoops it up, fires to second one, and the relay is a double play. 4-6-3 ending the inning. We will go to the bottom of the 9th. Strength and stability since 1849. Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. For a free in-home estimate, call 1-800-521-7800. Back here in downtown Detroit, where the Tigers go to the bottom of the ninth inning, needing some big-time offense to catch up to the Rangers. It is a 10-3 game, a 19-hit effort for Texas. Feldman back to the hill, facing Santiago to lead it off, and the first pitch is in there for a strike. Santiago, and then Jackson, and then Bosch. Here's the 0-1. Line drive caught right at Andrews.
Hey fans, you can follow the Tigers with MLB.com at bat12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or Windows Mobile. Get live audio pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Tigers.com for details.
One out. Here's Jackson. And he looks at strike one. We were talking about Avila and how long of a night it is for the starting catcher. The Tigers pitchers tonight have thrown 191 pitches. Wow. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. That will make for a long evening. Jackson hits this one in the air to right center. Gentry cruising over. And 2 gone. Lost it 0 for 5 tonight. We'll bring up Brendan Bosch. For 3 with a walk for Bosch. He is the last chance for the Tigers tonight. First pitch outside, 1-0. Porcello and Harrison tomorrow in game 2. And day games Saturday and Sunday before the Mariners come to town. Two and 0 the count. Bouncing ball right side should do it. Kinsler has it, and the Rangers put the finishing touches on an impressive win tonight in game 1 in this series. A whole lot of offense tonight for Texas. They are proving that they're going to win some games again this year with that offense. 10-3 your final score. Back with more from the ballpark in a moment.